Hi, everybody. This is day 1009. Richard was forcibly removed from his barracks room there on Fort Bliss in El Paso, Texas. This is the epicenter, the border, all of these last decade, because in 2015, President Trump went down that escalator and he said he's going to build a wall and he's going to make Mexico pay for it. And they went absolutely bonkers with all the false rhetoric. And um, when I heard it, when our family heard it, we we sat up in our chairs really straight, and we were like, "Oh my gosh, he just called out the deficit, the Mexican deficit that we have, the great sucking sound that the Texas candidate, was talking about, that had come true, right? The great sucking sound of jobs going south of the border um, and this huge deficit. And he was challenging that deficit. President Trump was challenging that deficit in 2015. And, it just tells you that the infiltration had already began in the United States, especially in Texas, because they were very upset about President Trump wanting to secure the border and to make Mexico pay for it. Then you learn about El Mayo and his arrest and the forfeiture of what was it? I want to say 13 billion or 17 billion. It was a lot of money. It was a lot of money that they made him forfeiture with his plea deal. Um, that tells you right there, because he's only one little part of the Sinaloa cartel in Mexico, what they were doing. Um, and now we know through the arrest of the DA leadership under Obama, Agent Campo, right? Campo, they called him Agent Cartel. I love that. There was a little mistake in the AP, Agent Cartel, and that he was, uh, you know, recently caught in a sting, wanting to, promising the CNGC, no, the CJNJ, no, a CGNJ, new generation, CJNG, right? The cartel, new generation. It is the arms part of the cartel from the Juarez cartel, I believe. They're the military little group of it. Um, and also the very, you know, diabolical um, La Diabla was also CJNG um, cartel, and she was running this organ harvesting and baby harvesting with illegal C-sections. And that the shells of those individuals have to be put somewhere, right? And where is Veronica Escobar in all of this when it comes to all these women being referred and then really targeted and taken to the she devil La Diabla, to be thrown into uh, a place by the flesh peddler, right? The flesh peddler, because once they got the empty shell, then they would cash in on humanitarian aid and insurance, still identities, and um, say, oh, this was an unidentified migrant, um, and then be in the hands of the monster. So you have the she devil, you have the flesh peddler, and you have the monster. Um, Martha Mendez Aguilar being the she devil, uh, Rosemary Arleano Purchase, Arleano Caron being the flesh peddler, and um, Maria Eugenia Galván Antillón, whatever, uh, the mother of the governor of Chihuahua, Maru Campos, um, with the mother, Maria Eugenia, being the monster, absolutely the monster. Um, and of course, tying this all together with the cartel. And this DEA agent, Campo, it's so big, right? That, of course, if you're a DEA agent under Obama all those years, you absolutely know who these people are, right? You absolutely know because you have access. You have your ID card, you can swipe, you have your top secret clearance, and you can absolutely, well, it's your job to know who these people are. And he went there to, well, it was a sting. Um, Individuals posing as CJNG, and as I understand it, and he offered to provide them with arms, not just with arms, not just with the ARs, not just with the M4s, which is the military grade weapons, but also with the military grade grenades and grenade launcher. And where are you going to get that from? You're going to get that from Fort Bliss, right? Because they don't want to pay for it themselves, right? They don't want, that's not his intention. Um, it's what we suspect is like a Fast and Furious is getting the taxpayers to pay for all of the weapons and ammunition and the grenades, which, explosive devices, the explosive devices launcher, right? The grenade launchers, that they pay for that and say, oh, it's for our military, it's for the security of our United States. And then you have those that have access um, and connections to traffic those weapons to cartels and pocket the money, you know. So this is really like a Fast and Furious on steroids. And with his arrest, um, it really corroborates what Richard was whistleblowing on, because when he was forcibly removed from his barracks room, uh, and it's getting close to 2,000 days ago, um, and he was taken then, uh, and we know it's people that had authority over him, because the prime suspect is this platoon leader, Dallas Hart. That's the prime suspect. The other prime suspect is former CID agent Tavita Nusa. So you're talking about law enforcement here, right? And you're talking about his chain of command, that are the suspects with this taking of his life in the arms room, in the basement of where he lived in the barracks. And because it's a soundproof room, and also because of other evidence that we have and confirmation that the director of emergency services was ordered by Major General Eisenhower to renovate that arms room with no expenses spared and not following any kind of bidding protocol. That is, it's just really going against all regulation. So what are they trying to hide, right? What are they trying to hide? It's very clear that they're trying to hide something. They're trying to erase something. And, so uh, we know that Richard was trafficked, that the reports are that he was dismembered and that a partial of him was taken to Mexico, and we believe at Plenitude Narco Crematorium. So why would they dismember him? Uh, they were cashing in. When you have a a dead soldier, they're worth a lot of money. You can, if you have connections, and Dallas Hart absolutely did have connections in the VA IDS Pueblo. His dad worked for the um, and issued could do all of it for death benefits, right? Um, and more. So and were they okay with being imposters, impersonating? Absolutely, they've been impersonating these 5 years, over and over and over again. All kinds of names. Have it all documented how they impersonated all the time, and so the impersonation, stealing identification to cash in. And then again, having a part of him to be an unidentified migrant to cash in on humanitarian aid. And then, of course, with all the COVID, that monetary payout was even larger because of um, having to be careful, disposal, which you can tell they were never careful because they were letting bodies stack up for years, rotting, rat infested, maggots, you name it. The stench was just so incredible. The reports are just demonic. I can't even tell you what we've heard about it. It's so terrible. And And then, of course, to take him over to the dumping ground, the narco dumping ground, and then they, um, cash in on him on that side of unidentified migrant. So they were committing sacrilege for personal gain, right? That's what they were doing. They were, so they have no sense of goodness or decency. This is absolutely La Diabla, flesh peddler, and the monster providing all of this, right? Um, and and our what evidence indicates. So, and of course, the generals, they have other reasons. The chain of command have other reasons because they cash in on all of the other trafficking when it comes to like the Fast and Furious, the weapons, right? Um, and of course, the drugs play a part of it and more. And they money launder through all kinds of business, through real estate and businesses. And, um, so we've learned a lot in this 5.5 years of how this system operates. And, uh, but they're never satisfied. They're never content. They're never happy. None of them are ever happy. I can tell you that right now, it's just a mess. It is so, when you look at what's going on in their family um, and their legacy and everything, it's pretty brutal. It is very, very brutal. So they're not even doing it for their own happiness. So it's really, to me, it's like a religious. It's really Satanism. just hell on earth, bringing hell on earth. In Christianity, we strive to put heaven on earth, and but they strive to put hell on earth. And yeah, this is been very, very clear in all of this. So that's why Maria Eugenia is so important with the El Mayo, because El Mayo, okay, you have something that happened between Maria Eugenia and El Mayo Zambada, right? So let me go on and make sure everything is working. I didn't even do that. It's late because we had a great party. We had a great party for Saint Nicholas Day. The Of course we're going to do that on the patron saint of children protector, right? Saint Nicholas is the protector of children, and of course we're going to raise his name up in a celebration, and um, and absolutely say that our children are at risk right now. They absolutely were targeted during the 4 years of the Biden administration. I can tell you that right now. That's not an allegation. Um, there is absolute evidence confirming that. And so, the border is really their number one target is Christianity, and then children, right? Children. They're after the children. So make sure that I'm on. I can see everything. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Laura. Thank you, Danielle. And so this has, people that have been watching for a long time, you absolutely understand that we've been putting all the pieces together. But more than that, we have used all of your tips, and we have filed. Okay, we have filed and filed and filed. Now the media doesn't cover it. You see that with Maria Eugenia, this mother, this monster, right? She's such a monster. And this is why the governor's ratings are so low in Chihuahua, because everybody knows that they're involved in this organ harvesting, um, body disposal to clean up, their war that they are violently engaged in, right, in order to keep power. Um, and this whole thing with El Mayo and Maria Eugenia Galván, I can just tell you something went wrong between them. I don't know if it was the LeBaron family massacre that happened in 2019. That was really changed a lot of things. There was other instances that happened before that, but I think that instant was tells a lot because of the Mormon faction that is in that Nova Casa Grandes area that overlaps with El Mayo's Golden Triangle, right? And El Mayo started this cartel with El Chapo, and they got, like I said, they have all this money, but they're not happy, right? They're just constantly watching each other's back or killing people, right? Killing people to maintain their power over their territory. And so none of them are good. I want to make that very clear. But El Mayo and El Chapo, they were partners for the longest, and they were very, very successful. I mean, you can tell by the amount of money that was forfeitured at his plea deal, millions and millions and millions of dollars. No, not even millions, sorry, billions and billions and billions of dollars. I can't even wrap my head around it because those kind of figures, it's really hard to imagine that kind of money and what damage that has done to our economies when that much money flows into criminal hands like that. Um, and away from its intentioned use, the fraud, waste, and abuse. It's really, really hard because you have the seen and the unseen in economics, right? Economics that you plainly can see, but then you have this unseen area where billions and billions of dollars that are put in the hands of a criminal network, and the damage that that does to countries, um, i- and to which countries, because we're so international today, right, with all of our trade. So, what countries could it have been? Could Haiti have been better off? Could Somalia have been better off? Uh, it's just the unseen. We just can't wrap our heads around it, but we can say that El Mayo, just his little piece of the Sinaloa, was absolutely enormous amount of money. And his brother, now I think his brother and nephew are running the El Mayo faction of the Sinaloa cartel now. But Maria Eugenia, the monster, is not El Mayo. Okay, she's not El Mayo faction. She's in the Pan Party. The Pan Party are Chapitos. They're absolutely cartel, and they're the Chapitos faction of the Sinaloa cartel. And so there was absolutely a fissure, right? There was absolutely a fissure in the Sinaloa cartel. And El Chapo, of course, was arrested, and El Chapo's son was I shouldn't say arrest. He was arrested with El Mayo, but El Chapo's son um, admitted recently, just days ago, that they forcibly took El Mayo with kidnapping, by kidnapping, and also drugged him, right? And put him in a El Paso businessman's airplane to fly him to Santa Teresa at Jetport uh, to be then detained with agents right there, law enforcement right there at the airport, waiting for this plane to show up. So, what did we learn from it? We learned that they feel like they are above the law. Um, and Maria Eugenia, the monster, feels like she's above the law. That's why she didn't feel like it was necessary to look at plenitude at all, what was going on. Um, the organ harvesting, which is clearly violations of the law. And they just feel like they can operate above the law, that they can do these crimes, and no one can say anything to them. And so this extradition of El Mayo is not an extradition at all. It was a kidnapping. It was criminal. Um, you can say, "Oh, he's a horrible person and needed to be arrested," and I'd agree with you. But you can't do it like you're above the law and do it your way, right? We have laws for a purpose. And El Chapo's son, who admitted to participating in this, with the owner of the jet plane or plane that carried them. They're the ones that colluded. They're the ones that felt like they were above the law and felt like they could extradite without even following the extradition regulations to get El Mayo arrested there at Santa Teresa. It is really you can figure out why they would want to do that, to control the whole case or maybe to botch the case, or you know, but it was illegal no matter how you look at it, and we'll see how they handle it. But he did a plea deal, and El Chapo's son did a plea deal, and next thing you knew, you had a DEA agent for Obama, a former one, very high ranking, getting arrested because of, of a sting operation for exactly what Richard was whistleblowing on, this criminal trafficking, and in this case, of the weapons and everything on Fort Bliss. So let's see what the other arrests are going to happen. Now we have these arrests, right? Then we need prosecution. And this is why I put up the two. Why are there two oath of offices for James Bonneau Montoya? And a matter of fact, it just says James Montoya. His legal name is James Bonneau Montoya. And as I understand it, when you become the 34th Judicial District Attorney, that's not a small thing. And your paperwork, especially being a guardian of the law, should reflect that you are a guardian of the law. But James Montoya feels the evidence indicates that he feels like he is also above the law. That even though he's the guardian of the law, being a lawyer and being in the prosecutor's office for all these years, that he doesn't have to really abide by the law, and he doesn't have to um, properly install as a district attorney. And why are there two oaths of office? That is the craziest, absolutely craziest thing. Ask AI about two oaths of office. It's a no-no. And no matter where you look, you can ask Google, you can go and ask lawyers. Everyone will tell you that, why in the hell does he have two oath of offices? And, they're just botched. They're just totally botched. And of course, his statement of officers are also. So, he's not a legitimate DA. Okay, just like Bill Hicks wasn't a legitimate DA, they are, what it looks like is that they're trying to sabotage any kind of prosecution. Ooh, why would they want to do that? Why would they want to sabotage the prosecutor's office? Why would they, want to, sabotage it so that there can't be any prosecutions? Well, it's because they're connected to this whole Mormon faction criminal cartel trafficking network. And, when you have individuals like Connell Witten being the assistant special agent in charge federally in the El Paso area, when you have the compromised Jose Sanchez of the regional leader, the top cop of the region, for the DPS, being compromised with this um, car fleet owner, uh, you know, telling Jose, oh, you're so cute, I guess. I don't know. Um, he's just so compromised. And of course, the judges. And so they're trying to, the point is, a cartel wants nothing more than our legal system and our judicial system to be totally sabotaged and botched up, so that they can absolutely, and along with the infiltrators, right? So that they could operate their criminal trafficking with impunity. That's very, very clear. And that's why it was getting so bad. And Richard was like, it's so bad. It is so bad. He kept saying that. So, and it is. And he's an absolute hero for warning us. And he paid the ultimate price for that, for being a federal witness to President Trump's first administration, corroborating exactly his President Trump's policies for securing the border and prosecuting cartel, right? So, Richard absolutely was corroborating that need. And so he was a huge threat um, for this criminal syndicate. And, um, and it became a bigger threat than what they ever knew. And so that's why they wanted to do counterintelligence. That's why they wanted to smear him. That's why they pay handsomely to keep a false narrative as like a top, uh, it's a false narrative. They pay for it. Why do they want to do that? Because they know that even in death, Richard challenges them and is their biggest risk to losing everything. And they're not happy people. It's not like you're taking happiness away from them when you're arresting them, right? Because they're miserable, monstrous, flesh peddling, uh, um, she devils that are, just miserable and creating misery for so many others. Um, and, um, and of course, it gets very, very violent, very violent. So we're getting to the bottom of this, and we just appreciate you coming on and sharing. Laura, thank you so much. Danielle, thank you so much. And a lot is happening behind the scenes. And if I can't really tell you, I'm not at liberty to tell you everything that we've reported on and filed. I just can tell you that we have been nonstop, and vicious, because we are in the vicious negotiations of repatriation of our son's remains, which are really vicious. And, but God has a plan. God is in control, and everything is working out for those that love Him. Those are all verses that um, I'm so glad that I learned, because that has sustained us for 5.5 years. Otherwise, you'd give up really quick, because in our culture today, everything has to be quick, right? But God is wants us to be very patient. Wait at the bottom of the mountain, right, for Moses to come down. Wait patiently, right? And so we are absolutely fighting and for his justice, and waiting patiently until he delivers that justice. And it's coming. It's absolutely coming. So you see that with the DEA, right? The DEA agent. Absolutely. That was just amazing. And then the very, very low approval. I mean, the worst approval rating ever. Worst approval rating for Maru Campos, right? She's the worst governor in Mexico. People don't like her. So that is a very good sign. A very good sign, because she's uh, she's pretty bad, y'all. She's pretty bad. I mean, she's the monster's daughter, and she has even now is allowing the monster out to do bad things. So thank you so much for coming on, and um, I will be back tomorrow, God willing. Hopefully a little earlier, a little more chipper. But I think that this getting to the bottom of being able to reveal what we know about the ownership of this plane that brought in El Mayo, I think that's very, very important. And please share that information. So we have a lot of support for that. Thank you so much. God bless you. And I will be back tomorrow. God